Hello, welcome to another episode of Mycelium Gallery Interviews. I'm here with Paisley Straenj. I am Barclay. We are here in the forest next to Paisley's wall of awesome art. Hello, Paisley.
Hello.
When did you decide that you were an artist?
I think decision is kind of the wrong word. It was more of a, I think it was just more of a realization. Actually, I was 5 when I started on this journey of my creative explorations, for lack of a better term.
Cool. What was the first material that you remember getting into?
Paper. My first medium when I was 5 was origami. And I took to it and it just felt so natural to me. And I think out of all the mediums I've ever studied, I think I will still have a fascination and a love for paper itself. And that's where I started. And it's just, everything's kind of revolved around that as I've moved on.
Okay. I know you used, was it 17 different materials?
Well, that's what I've got in the show.
Okay.
The last count, which I've lost count several times, between different styles and mediums, I count about 80 right now.
Wow. Okay.
From things like iconography of different cultures to different techniques and different systems.
What would you say is your art style?
Oh, wow. Origami being my first medium, I really latched onto a lot of the philosophies that are attached to that style of art. And in the Orient, they talk about that the true journey of an artist is to find what they call li, or the organic pattern. And so I think nature is something that I'm very much attracted to. Very, I couldn't even begin to describe my style, except it's just what I like. It's the things that I'm interested in, the ideas that I like to express. I always tell people my 3 great influences on my work as a child were Van Gogh, Escher, and Dali. And I have this idea about art that I don't want to compete with people. So I'm not trying to be the next Dali. I'm not trying to be the next Van Gogh. But they inspire me, and they in a way have helped shape the direction that I've gone.
So your show is called Oddly Undisturbing. What is Oddly Undisturbing?
When I lived in California, somebody took a look at my portfolio and they said, the only way I can describe this is it's very oddly undisturbing. And I still really don't know what that means, but it sounds really good. But yeah, it's that kind of halfway in between one and the other that I'm always looking for. I've got this surrealism that I kind of blend into this almost normality, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I feel like people can relate to nature and insects and can make them comfortable with surrealism, I guess, with relating to something that they know.
I'm not trying to make my art sticky sweet, but I don't want it to be so dark that it's repulsive. I try to find this balance between the light and the dark, so there's this flow like you find in real life almost. As they say, art imitates life. So.
Yeah, I think I can definitely see that when I look at your pieces, that those 2 words make sense. So I know you're going to have a lot of different mediums in your show. Can you tell me a few of them?
Well, a lot of my work actually that I presented to the show is actually very new. A lot of this is a very new crop of work. Some of it is from an older period where I've kind of been roaming around and exploring the country. But I bring a lot of my classics. I bring my origami with me. I'm bringing some crazy quilt, textile pieces. I have collages. I'm bringing prints. I have a painting or two. I have almost a little bit of everything. I have trading cards available. I have this theory about art as far as size goes, and I always equate it to restaurants, right? I feel like that there are pieces that are like the steak or the lobster dish, and those are the ones I will price rather high for my standard. But then I also want to make my work accessible, so I try to keep a lot of my prices very low with smaller pieces and little bite-sized snacks that people might be able to enjoy at the same time that they can, peruse the steak, if you will.
So, Paisley, I see you made this lamp. Can you tell me more about this lamp?
Ah, yes, Mr. Ivy. Mr. Ivy here is a reclaimed piece that I have decided to, because I've never made lamps before, and I thought that this would be a good opportunity to explore a brand new medium that I've never done ever. And so I went ahead and gathered some stuff and just kind of translated what I think lamp. And this is what I came up with, or one of them. There's going to be several in the show, but again, it's one of those things I'm always trying to push myself as an artist and try new things, try things I've never done before.
Well, I've never seen a lamp like this.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. Using light now. Paisley, I really like this butterfly here. Can you talk about this piece a little bit?
Well, sure. That's one of my pieces of rogue taxidermy. In my travels, I do use a lot of found objects, and one of the things I come across every once in a while are piles of bones, and I always felt that it was a tragedy that that there was this creature, this life form, this being who has just been discarded as if they weren't anything, and it always bothered me, and I decided that, let me see if I can find a way to honor these lost souls, a way to bring some beauty back to their passing. And so I've been collecting roadside bones and bone beads and things like that. I've been doing this, taking these elements of death, if you will, and I'm trying to turn them and transmogrify them back into something of life and something of beauty.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, Paisley, what would be the overall message that you hope that people would take away from seeing your show?
A big part of my work, or why I do what I do, is I really feel like that sometimes the world can be a very hard place to be in. People can be treacherous, life can be difficult, it can be almost impossible sometimes. And I feel like that I just want to add a little bit more beauty in the world. I don't feel like there's enough. And so I feel like that, if I can add a little bit of beauty, that's my way of trying to make the world a better place. As far as when people look at my work, I try to be ambiguous with meaning, because I was once told that the idea that beauty is in the eye of the beholder is actually a mistranslation from the original concept. Because the original says beauty comes from the eye of the beholder. And what it means is that when you see beauty in the world, what you're actually seeing is your own beauty reflected back at you. And that's what I try to make. I try to make these reflections almost in a way that it almost like I'm trying to tell these stories, but I'm leaving it empty so that my viewer can make the story up when they see it. Almost like I want each piece to be an adventure in joy, an adventure in laughter, an adventure in, in the world, if you will, And so I try to have this ambiguity where I don't want to make anybody feel any way. I don't want to try to tell them anything except, look, the world is beautiful. There are beautiful things that exist, and if you can see them, then there's hope.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to a new artist?
Never stop exploring. Never stop looking for new ways to express yourself. I mean, I have I have touched so many mediums in my life. I mean, I paint, I sculpt, I draw, I sew, I do computer graphics, I do floral design, I do origami, I do a ton of stuff. But the thing is that I've noticed is that I've never found how learning one medium, a new medium, did not influence all the rest of the work that I was doing. Even now to this day, I'm still pushing my skill set, still trying to keep going. You see all my beautiful work. I'm currently enrolled in a machining class, and I can already feel the impact of that schooling on the rest of my work. So yeah, it all flows together. Even if you go into things like writing or music, it's still, you'll find these common beats of creativity. So I would tell people to never limit yourself to one thing. Explore, keep looking, keep finding yourself out there, because the more you explore, the more you'll find who you are, and the more you'll find a common expression within your work.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to your show. Paisley's show will be August 19th on a Saturday. The show will be from 5 to 8. Come out and enjoy some local art and meet a local artist. Hope you come. Thank you for being here, Paisley, and showing your face. I'm Barclay. We are at Mycelium Gallery. Thanks. We hope to see you soon. So, Willie, what is it like being Paisley's companion?